Another feature of Dynavision Trade is some additional info on the items. As you can see on my item list, we have the standard inventory for the base unit of measure. On top of that, we added the calculation of the inventory for the sales unit of measure and for the purchase unit of measure. This gives you a nice overview if you're working with multiple unit of measures. On the same list, you can also see a new field. It's a demo quantity item for the external warehouse. So this is something that is configurable. If I click on this quantity, I will see a complete overview of the item ledger entries filtered for the item and for the location external warehouse. So how is this set up? If I go to the dynamic fields setup, I see a definition for 3 dynamic fields. This is only for demo purposes. You can create more dynamic fields as you desire. The first one is the dynamic field that I just saw on my item list, the demo quantity item for the external warehouse. So how do I define this? I say the source table is the item because I see it on the item list. We can also select customer or vendor as a source table. And the target table is the item ledger entry because I want to retrieve some information from the item ledger entry filtered on the selected item. We have then a series of calculation methods. I can create or calculate the sum. I can calculate an average, or I can count the amount of entries. So you have some options available. In this case, I want to make a sum because I want to see the quantity available in the external warehouse. On top of that, I can define which field needs to be summed, so it's a quantity field, and I can enter some filtering because I don't want to see the complete quantity of all items over all the locations. I just want to have the location external. So with a filter, I can set a value to filter on the location code for external. This is just a quick overview of the possibilities. Another possibility also set up on the item is a quantity for a subsidiary. This is another company, so I can also create a count or summation of the quantity based on item ledger entries. But in this case, I will also specify a different target company. So it's a second company in the same environment. And once I enable this and I go back to my list page of the items, I have to reload it once. I see now the additional calculated field, my dynamic field that I just added for the subsidiary. If I click on this flow field, it will open a new browser tab. It will change the company to the subsidiary, A company, and it will also give me the list of the item ledger entries for the specific item. So in this case, as a functional consultant, you can very easily add some additional flow fields, in fact, on the item list, and the same information can also be displayed on the item card. We added a fact box on the item card where you see the dynamic fields that are defined related to that item. As you have noticed, I also had a dynamic field related to a customer, and it's making a calculation that can also be used on the sales order. So on the sales order, I have added a fact box with the dynamic field for the customer. So it's related to the customer, and it's also related to the item on the sales line. So in the fact box, I see that for the specific sell to customer, I have the amount on beer on orders. I see a value of 43. And if I click through, I will get also a list of all possible sales lines where the item beer has been introduced, and where I can now see the quantity of those lines. I can very easily see, okay, there are some quotes, there are some orders, and there is even a blanket order. But as a consultant, you can freely define those calculated fields, and they offer you a powerful tool to easily, without development, add some additional info on item lists, customer lists, vendor lists, and also on some sales documents.